Football is something that many dream of. Years of hard work, years of fight, years of determination. But what happens when it all ends? Depression, alcohol, poor investments.
You what?
You sold them
Why?
for money.
To buy drink and gamble.
You sold the rest of your England caps to buy drink and gamble?
Yeah.
It's the only thing you got left?
Yeah, it was... I shouldn't be here. No.
Millionaires, successful businesses, and happy lives.
Yeah.
The first pieces of clothing I produced were tracksuits, t-shirts, hoodies. Put it on my friends, the football players I knew, and it took off almost from the off. And at the time I didn't really appreciate this is not normal until, you know, a year and a half down the line when I look back and thought, wow, the turnover in the first year was unbelievable. And that's when I realised I need to really focus and take it to the next level.
It's a gathering that has brought together a huge portion of Liberia's 4.6 million population. They are here to usher in their new president, who has a grass-to-grace tale from being a commoner to a world-best footballer and now the country's president.
However, no retirement is the same, and with more money and media attention in the game than ever before, we're here to find out whether the generations now hanging up their boots are going to fare better than the previous ones. We spoke to Exeter City footballer and founder of Laps Careers, Robbie Simpson, about what he thinks. Laps Careers was created in 2016 and it is for ex and current sports professionals who want to find work outside of sport.
It came about, I'd say in about 2012, I left Oldham and I was out of contract and struggled to get a new contract at any other clubs that I wanted. And I had about 5 months out of the game looking for clubs or looking for other stuff to do really, just in case football didn't work out and I didn't get a new contract. And it was then I thought of the idea that there needed to be a platform for retiring footballers at that stage to move into new careers once they've retired. But then I spent sort of the next 2 years after that speaking to my friends that had gone into different sports like rugby, cricket, athletics, and their feelings were very much the same, that support wasn't quite there when they wanted to move on to new careers once they'd retired, and it was quite an anxious time for them when that time comes. So I decided to branch out into all sports.
We also spoke to psychotherapist Gavin Weir-Jones to gain a further insight into the mind of a retired footballer.
My name's Gavin Weir-Jones. I'm a psychotherapist and I'm also a career coach as well.
So, how does someone who has only done one thing their entire life transition to a completely different career?
I think it really depends on whether or not they're going to make that career transition through their own choice, like they know their career's coming to an end and therefore they can plan it in advance, or whether or not, say, in footballing they've been sacked or it's an injury, in which case it's happened very quickly and therefore they may have to choose something which they're not prepared for. So it all depends on where they're coming from, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How would you go about helping someone transition career?
Forward planning. Again, if they knew they were going to change, then I'd probably be working with them maybe up to a year before they left. We'd be looking at their goals, what their expectations were, and also, you know, depending on what level of professionalism they were playing at, how would they keep themselves in their style of living? You know, if they've been very highly paid, to go from very highly paid player to, you know, Joe Bloggs working in B&Q, it's going to be difficult transitioning that. So it will be staged, and we're looking at goals and we're looking at reality checks really as to what they want to achieve.
What advice would you give to someone transitioning career? Maybe 3 key steps.
Look ahead. Make sure that whatever financial or physical health obligations you have are going to be covered, and also sort of start to think a little bit more broader in terms of your abilities. So the normal kind of, if you were a player, you don't necessarily just go straight to becoming a coach, or a manager. There are obviously other aspects to their life that they can spread out to as well.
One thing I wanted to know is, why do some ex-footballers struggle post-retirement? Here are the answers.
I guess because, like the majority of people, like myself, all I ever wanted to be was a footballer. My parents maybe were always knocking me down, saying I'm not going to be a professional footballer and I need to get an education. And I was fortunate enough to do both. I completed a degree before I became a footballer. But it was a rare case, and it's still a rare case now that someone would go to university, complete a degree, then become a professional footballer. So for the majority, it's all they've ever wanted to do, it's all they've ever known. They maybe haven't got the educational background to move on easily once they retire. I think for that reason it's tough, but also you've got the financial burden. Footballers get paid quite a lot of money retrospectively, but that means they live a very I wouldn't say wild lifestyle, but they live to their means, and they live exuberant lifestyles to reflect the wage that they're getting at that age. So when that comes to an end, they want to carry on that lifestyle, and maybe they can't. And it hits them hard. They've got to start from the bottom, as it were, in a new career, not earn enough money, but want to keep the same lifestyle. And also on the mental health aspect, I think, the buzz that you get from playing in front of thousands of people each week, and then probably within the space of a month or two retired, people are forgetting who you are and not recognising you, and it's quite a hard thing to deal with. But like I say, I think the support's getting better, and the future generations are definitely in a better position to deal with it.
It all boils down to one thing really. Will pros of this generation fare better during their retirement than pros of previous generations? Well, let's find out the answers.
Yeah, again, I think for probably a lot of the things we've talked about, there are career coaches around. There is planning, kind of eventuality planning. There is awareness that people can slide into addictive issues, and there is support there for mental health as well as physical health. Because again, if you put your body through what they put them through for a long period of time, there's going to be a knock-on effect. You retire in your 40s. By the time you're in your mid-50s, you could be carrying a lot of injuries, which may limit your career.
Yeah, I hope so. And I think the whole mentality of sports people has changed a bit. I think because of previous sports people that have retired and maybe struggled in post-retirement from sport. I mean, there's lots of stories about bankruptcy, divorce rates, and mental health in particular is a big thing in the press recently, with lots of people suffering from depression, some even attempting to take their own lives. So I think that realisation has become more prominent in the media. So I think now a lot more sports people are thinking about planning for their life after sport, and I guess it's good timing for me, for Laps, that they're thinking that way. When I first signed professional at Coventry, I was the only one with a degree, for an example, back in 2007. But now at Exeter, I think there's 10 of us in the change room that have either got degrees or currently studying for one. So I think the mentality is changing, and I think, like you say, the future generations of sports people will be better off for it than the previous ones.
After speaking to Robbie and Gavin, you have to think that ex-professionals of the future are very lucky. With companies such as Laps supporting them, you'll be sure to see many ex-pros climbing the ladder of a new career soon.